Hi, here we are today for your connection reflection, and today we're going to be taking a look at 1 Kings chapter 21 verses 1 through 16 and some of Psalm 5 and then also some of Matthew 5 38 to 42. And so what we see in 1 Kings is Ahab trying to get the vineyard off of Naboth. And he really wanted it, and he goes and he asks for it, and Naboth says, no, that's my ancestral inheritance. Like, why would I give that to you? Far be it from me to do such a thing, right? And so we see Ahab really goes back and pouts. It's like grandiose example of pouting in the Old Testament. And he goes and pouts, and he turns towards the wall, and he's really ticked off about it. And his wife Jezebel comes, and she's like, I got this. And she goes and she totally violating everything of truth and goodness. She goes and absolutely sets Naboth up to be outed by some scoundrels and eventually be killed, and then goes back and tells Ahab, okay, go get the vineyard you wanted to be your vegetable garden. And so from that, I just really see a great teaching about boundaries, because I know as a therapist how important boundaries are, physical, emotional, and spiritual boundaries, because there's a place where each one of us stops and the other one starts. And when we respect those things, things go well. When we respect those boundaries, things go well. When we don't, things end poorly, and sometimes even abuse and all kind of violation, as I hear about as a trauma therapist. And so exactly what we see here was Ahab would not pay attention to Naboth's boundary, and Jezebel set him up for that boundary to just be completely crossed in every way possible. And so we get a really clear example of what not to do. We need to set boundaries, exactly like Naboth did. That was good and right. And yet at the same time, we see very clearly, scripture's like really clear, there will be scoundrels, and scoundrels will cross your boundaries. And then it's so beautiful was when we go to, I'll skip over the psalm right now. Well, in the psalm, we know that the psalmist is actually praying to the Lord and asking for protection and defense because there's wicked people in the world. And then we go to Matthew 5, 38 to 42, in that the Lord is really clear about, your boundaries are going to be overrun. And when they are, you don't have to worry about that. You can remain in peace. And you don't have to go to your defenses. And all of that is because he is our defense, just like the psalmist is praying in the Psalms today. And so we get a really clear example. I just love it when scripture is just so real with really earthy stuff that we go through in this life. In 1 Kings, again, the need for setting boundaries and the really clear need for respecting others' boundaries. And with the psalmist asking for the Lord to be our defense, and then in Matthew saying, yep, there will be people who will overrun your boundaries. You don't have to let that shake your peace. I'm your defense. Go with them. And like we see even in 1 Kings, even in the life of Jesus, it doesn't matter how much your boundaries are overrun. It doesn't change who we are, and it doesn't change God's value for us. We can be confident, we can be unshaken, regardless of who's overrun our boundaries, because the Lord is our defense. God bless you.